Namaskaram. Thank you, my brother, for the kind introduction. I must thank, as he mentioned, the architect of the philosophy family, my brother, Dr. Pramod Kumar Das. I was here exactly 6 months back on the science of life based on Bhagavad Gita. Had a little philosophy, had a beautiful discussion, lot of dialogues, lot of reflections on many thoughts. Me and Dash plus Om Narayan Rao, the person who really takes great initiative in connecting to people, were in discussion and contact after that also. So I'm so glad that I'm called again. When asked for a topic, in these days what I'm thinking or what I like to make it happen, that topic is what came to my mind, and that's how I gave conscious living. Earlier it was science of life. Many people live a life, they are aware of responding to their surroundings, and I keep calling reflecting is more important. And that reflection comes with your brain and with a feeling only if you are conscious. So generally when you respond to the surroundings, we call that person is conscious. If they are not responding to the surroundings, we call him as unconscious. So here we are not discussing that conscious living. We are not discussing what is in contrast to unconscious. We are discussing about the awareness, having the knowledge of something. So when we live, are we really know how to live? To what extent of the problems in life we face with a lot of knowledge? Actually, that is what Bhagavad Gita teaches by that jnanam, that nayam, the knower, the seer, the seeker, the giver. All that is part of it. So being aware of whom you are. Arjuna could have fought a war, but is he aware that what a person, when he does his action, what are all that he is supposed to know? That knowledge is awareness. A mechanic can repair a scooter without knowing how the engine works. But the mechanic becomes an engineer when he understands how the engine works. So one is action and another one is being aware of your actions. The conscious of knowing things is what is knowledge. So how do you become awakened? We are in Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, but most of the people are not in Jagrat, though they are supposed to be in Jagrat. They are not awakened themselves. That's why we have got a lot of programs on awakening, self-conscious, self-awareness. So many great spiritual words are used. That means common people are not that. Only when you get into that level, you become aware of things. Maybe when the buddhi is active, we call them as alert, responsive, reactive. When your manas is active, we call them, they have got sensitivity, feeling. But how do you make this? And some Western people call it as mindfulness. Nice words are being used. I don't know whether those people, when they are using mindfulness, whether they really understood whether that is. The other day Adria was asking whether manas is chit. Yeah. The chitta samshodhana is what is purification. So when you are sensible, the sensory organs are controlled by your chit. And how the chit is controlling, the manas is controlling, or manas is leaving the organs to work in its own style. And after some time, my brain will not criticize me, the me inside me. And there is a wisdom in me who says, oh, I should have not done it, I should have done it. This keeps happening to us. So we are totally into conflicts and confusions. Is your mental faculties are not dull when it is really happening? Is it not a logical thought can be put at the right time? Are you sleeping? Are you awakened? Then your conscious activity should happen without criticizing you, or you don't have to find reasons for justifying you. Can you be instantaneously be in action, perceiving, maybe apprehending, noticing what is under your control, what is not under your control? Whether that observation itself by your indriyas is controlled by your consciousness, which is the soul probably. Are you able to watch as a uncontrolled person? Are you able to watch like children play? The parents don't control, like our indriyas can play without control, but still your child will not do mistakes. Likewise, your indriyas will not do mistakes. Yes, if you are conditioned, if you are aware, if the child is aware, the child is at a higher level, yes, they don't do mistakes. Is our indriyas are such, they are more matured. Though they are not having senses, if at all you wanted to call, buddhi is your sense. If that brain is what is sense, we keep sometimes saying, my indriyas don't have senses. But then our Upanishad doesn't agree with this. Upanishad says, the indriyas also have a sense. Every cell has a sense. Then why we are living in a world of illusion? What is reality? Am I able to perceive the reality? Okay, then the question comes. It's a beautiful way of looking at life. I live a life within illusion, though I know this is not real. I wanted to live like this. I want to frame it like this, format it like this, but it doesn't happen. Most of the time, unknowingly I did it. Unwantedly I did it. Many people justify, keep saying that I have grown now, therefore my buddhi is better. Therefore, no. Your life at any point of time is that life. So you need not justify. You need not find fault. That time what is done is done. That is what happens to an Atmiya Purusha. Because we know that we are growing. So what I have done in my childhood, probably a mistake. Why should I justify after some time? Not necessarily. We can just forget it. But then we say, we are living in a real world. We cannot forget things. Right? So is it that the illusion which drives us, or is it that the reality which drives us? Or now we say it is illusion. Who controls my brain? And I am saying this is illusion, this is reality. Which is that brain which can process and understand beyond my consciousness? Could you consider you in an illusion and reality is something which comes to you later? Or is it reality comes to you now and illusion comes to you later? Or both will exist at the same time? Is it possible for you to think like that? Then you have a bigger problem. The dependency on your life, which we understand as we lived earlier. which we think is most meaningful, and we have forgotten that. As we have to forget mistakes, we also have to forget the meaningful life. But we keep saying, what you do today we will enjoy tomorrow. What we will today, we have got a karma which influences, reflects on us. Then how can it be an illusion? Realize, most of the people in our great saints, if the God dictated, or maybe from their vision they got it, we keep saying the life is immortal. And once the time we realize life is immortal, we say that this life is illusion. The next life, will it become again illusion or reality? Okay, then the conscious life becomes a miracle. The conscious life itself becomes an illusion. Don't use brain to justify. Logic has no reasoning here. So the consciousness is an extra feature of brain for some people who are psychologically attempting it. And Western philosophers have seen the consciousness in phenomenally the activity of brain. But here, so far what I have done in the last few minutes is to justify it is not a brain activity. There is no logic. There is no reality, and compare and then say it should not happen. In that case, we will have two duality. What is the properties of the physical consciousness and non-physical consciousness will come. The brain creates a lot of sensitivities, dispositions, placing it in the right place, direct contact to the world, judging it, all that will happen. So we say that is where maybe medical science we say the state of consciousness. That's why I said it is not the state of consciousness we are talking about. The conscious living is the higher status of living, which logically you need not justify. Understand, you are justified by you, and you don't look around the surroundings. And then there is a bigger problem. My sensory organ itself is not the way I wanted it to happen. I as an individual in my family has got a different role, and they don't agree with what I am doing. My society will not agree the way I wanted to behave. So what do? We are conscious that we are not consciously living. Or sometimes we are unconsciously living the conscious way. It's not what I wanted. So I keep saying life has become consciously unconscious and unconsciously conscious. People with a bigger brain has a bigger problem. If your brain is less, the way you live, you don't care, you are not practical, you are not materialistic, the society will not find fault with you, the family will not find fault with you. You don't need to justify being here the way you are. But when your brain starts becoming more and more aware, you have a role to play, you have a goal to achieve in life, you have to add a lot of wisdom values inside. So the balancing of role, goal, values becomes a big, the path on the rope, which you have to be actually doing like a, I don't know whether it is a joker falls down. But a real person who does this balancing in a circus. So life has become a circus for most of the people. The narrow line, unconsciously conscious and consciously unconscious. He is aware that he is going to fall, he cannot. So he is pretending that he is not aware of he is going to fall. So the How can you be in that state and lead yourself? What people call it is you should need a, or you have to have a well balanced life, a beautiful life. Be that which is expected from you by others around you. Then is there a free will for you? Is there a free call for you? Are you being conscious about your existence, which has got a bigger perspective probably in the way you wanted to live? Are you able to lead yourself freely? Is it that your will is being leading you? Or do you want, as you grow, transform? The word itself is beautiful. You have to transform. It is not forming. It is not formatting. You have to go beyond format. That is transform. Whether your consciousness will allow you to transform you as a person who can lead your life. Forget about others. And lead you in this community where they have got a format. So that is what is called living consciously. So embrace your truth. Embrace your truth. Understand it better and better. Sometimes it may be very bitter, but doesn't matter. Become self-aware of yourself. Not at the verge of retirement from life. Focus your attention. Don't get distracted. Develop that awareness inside you where you can control the speed in which you have to go. Will it happen out of a workshop? Give a coaching? Can somebody grade you with the marks? Can you have a common question answer? Not possible. Because everybody is created by, if we believe that it is Brahma who created all of us, he has not created out of same factory. We are not factory products. Will it be able to clean it by have a group discussion, understand, oh, this is what I want, this is what you want, will it happen the way we wanted to make it happen? Is a dialogue and discussion possible for us to understand what is that essentially we want to modify so that we can drive each one of us in the way by taking some lessons to understand the path in which you have to move to make it realize? Can we have some immersive programs by yourself going deeper and deeper in our own life? Can we reflect on our thoughts silently? That's what I am thinking. Can we have such a center where people can come and rest? Not be active. Ponder yourself. Think yourself. What am I doing? How to make it happen? Why, when, where? How much real life I have to put? How much illusionary life I have to have? What is the role of my conscious mind? Conscious mind. Mind itself is not conscious. A real mind which makes me to become conscious, thinking this is how my life has to be. Many spiritual people are so programmed in their life. They know how to do business. And we call them spiritual leaders. They know how to construct big buildings. They know how to market on media. And we call them spiritual leaders. They have to be driven by what is called the consciousness, the illusionary world. So we are being led by most of the spiritual leaders not to be spiritual, to be more materialistic and practical. That's what their examples are being shown. So what exactly you hate in you? Assess yourself. You realize some point of time, oh, this is not what I wanted. I resist being like this. Do you have that resistance? That resistance is what polishes you. Anything you want to polish, it has to be resistance first. Do you echo yourself? Do you have a chamber where you can echo yourself? So that you hear on your own voice, not somebody's voice externally. so that you can decide, live on your choices. Will it become a mental activity, a intellectual logical activity? No, that should not be. How can it be not that practical, logical, materialistic only thing? That is what happened in our life called satsang, not in a large group, one to one. So you need to have a choice discussion, not a chance discussion. All of us are into chance because the opportunity around you tell you that you got to go to Ukraine if you don't get a seat in India for MBBS. So it's all chances. We are driven by chances. We are not driven by choices. But sometimes chance will dictate our choices. Oh, there is a chance. It's not conscious action. So chance is an unconscious action and choice is a conscious action. That's why I said unconsciously conscious and consciously unconscious. We are living in a not a clear world where everything is fog, confusion. And how do we choose what is seen and what is unseen? How do you clear it? Is it that being unpractical, impractical, against these norms, what we call it as norms, is what is being discussed? No. Make your reflections in your life, in your regular routine activity. So out of 24 hours, okay, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. The Sushupti, forget about it. Jagrat, do you have control on these 8 hours? At least some hour where you have a regular routine which you wanted to make it happen in your life, in your relationships, in your goals. Invest some time consciously. Otherwise your life goes mechanical. You are going to office and coming back. It's like a pendulum. I keep saying life is like a pendulum. Go to office, come back. Regular. Do your routine job. You need a lot of courage to quit that and come out and think like this. That's what DrTPS has done. You need a bigger magnet around that pendulum which is metal, so that it will have chaotic. You will be in chaotic. What I am saying 10 years back is not what I am saying today, because life was chaotic. You disturb yourself internally. You have to steer it properly. Look at relationships from different angles. Look at impact on me by the world and my impact on the world. It's like a roller coaster sometimes. And what is that you are... See, we have every day, look at it. I keep asking students when they come to me, they take a mineral water. Ask, is it mineral? So it's learning. Learning is conscious. You are conscious that what people say is not true. You are eating food. I keep asking, how much is that rice cost? Just because you purchased for 2 rupees? No, it doesn't cost 2 rupees. It costs much more. The land cost, water cost, seeding cost, manpower cost, transportation cost. If you add together the rice what you are eating for a lunch, every time, 3 times if you are eating, each one costs 3,000 to 5,000 rupees. So every poor fellow is also eating with 15,000 rupees food in India today. But they don't realize it because they are not aware. They are not conscious about the worth of the item. We are not conscious about the breathing, the air. That is why we can say I am an environmentalist, but still I pollute the world. Because you are not conscious about the value of it. So review yourself, the time which you spend in your life. How much time I have to spend for learning? I am sleeping. If I am living 60 years, I am sleeping 20 years. 1/3 of my life I am sleeping. The rest 40 years, what am I doing? I am studying to get a job. 8 years. Gone. Then are you living the rest of the time? Keep asking this question. Keep an account of your life. Then you understand the so-called relationship, father, mother, brother, sister, wife, cousin, sister, kids. That relationship itself is an illusion and bogus. You are not living for your father. The child is not living for you. You are not living for child. Husband is not living for wife. Explore yourself. How much time, moment-wise, you are spending for them. All of us are selfish, but then we are pretending that we are not. So that's why I'm saying we are in an illusion. We don't have a conscious life. How do you care this to give a transformation inside you? How much of your body you look after so carefully? Are you conscious about the part of the body and look at it carefully? Or you take it for granted? Body doesn't mean the outside, inside also. Are you eating what you are supposed to eat so that you are conscious about the after effect of what food you take? Are you conscious about the emotional attachment which you show or the disattachment which you show? Are you bounded to somebody so much that you become a subordinate, you become a servant of such people, and you think, oh, I wasted my life? Is your intellect being poured in such activities where you become so innovative, so creative, whether your buddhi is being utilized, what is given to you, whether your memory is working fine, whether your social contribution and your connectivity, the communication, we are supposed to be spiritual being. Are we attaining it at some point of time in life? Or are you still an LKG student in the consciousness world and then you die as a LKG student without passing? Do you have there is a great process in psychology and development processes which is called Enneagram. I don't know how many people know. The dream, celebration, passion, fixation, virtue, we keep calling it. Where is it being done? 9 different spare parts. I am a reformer, I am a helper, I am an achiever. I don't remember. There are 9. We just came, so I'm saying. But if you can partition it, the Enneagram, personality types, if you can partition, you understand, oh, I am a peace lover. I am an enthusiast. But all of us have a body part is there which says I am a protector, I am a perfectionist. Between the body and the mind there is a balancing which says, oh, I have got a loyalty. I have got multiple options which I know how to analyze. As my heart is working, I am a giver, I am a taker, I am romantic. Spiritual, oh, I am an observer. How do you balance this? How do you get this? The instinct is there which talks about. I am saying, maybe I have to use the word conscious is instinct. But am I knowing my instinct? Am I giving some time to understand what is my instinct? Do I have the range? Am I cut out of my thinking and feeling so that my gut feeling comes out? All of us have a gut feeling. And we say, oh, my gut feeling says, why? And then why are you not using it every time? Only once in life, for one time, my gut feeling. The rest of the time your feelings only come. Gut feeling doesn't come. It is not logical. You know that it is not. You are unknowingly forgetting it. So there is a feeling, there is a thinking, there is a gut feeling. Let me call that consciousness as gut feeling now. The word came. The instinct. Let us use that instinct beyond my brain and beyond my feelings of heart and manas and the chit. It is not, we are all driven by intelligence. That's why we keep saying you have to get a first rank. The other day I gave a lecture, somebody asked me, why did you give learn to learn as the topic? I said for UK, America, I can talk about learn to learn. Africa, I will talk about learn to earn. India, I talk about learn to become famous. Because your intelligence is so much, you have a sufficient way of life. You don't require to earn because your parents earned sufficient enough. If you don't work also, you can live. Parents are making lot of money so that your children can have a peaceful, beautiful house where they can eat well and die. You can even get married and your spouse can live on your expense. Whether it is a girl or a boy doesn't make a difference. Because everybody has earned enough. We are rich. Therefore, we don't have much different things to think. But are we aware of that balancing this life with that sort of a change. So, what I think, we need a shadow of ourselves, which I have to question that shadow with a good reflection and look at their environment. I am not seeing environment at all. We are seeing in a city what is traveling around that, and we keep finding fault with the environment because what we are seeing is only the polluted world. So, how do you learn bigger? How do you have a fixation of virtue with a great passion in life? Knowing distinctly what is instance, what is unknowing, what is knowing, what is dream. Can you celebrate your life with a greater thought like this? Get to know yourself, accept yourself. Don't criticize, don't reflect. Spend your time, I don't say good, I say wisely, so that your life become blissful. Grateful to you yourself. I am grateful to you, me. Can you say that? Because I did a conscious decision of not living the way others are living. I have got my life which I am crafted for a different purpose. Doesn't matter. You can delay your happiness. You can delay your meaningful life. But at some point of time, do you have that? Or you suspended it totally? Or you dismissed it totally? When you can give up your guilt that, oh, I should not have done. Do you have to die with the guilt, or can you give up some point of time in your life? Can you have that self-talk with you to realize? That's what is realization. It is not going to some XYZ fellow and then understanding realization. No, you find yourself. There can be a workshop, there can be a discussion, there can be a hut. Maybe you want to rub, you can. But you have to polish yourself. It's not denial. It is not being defensive about the world around. You don't have to envy on somebody else. Oh, he has a better life because he's a great spiritual man. He created a kingdom by himself. No. Don't do a judgment on what you do, comparing with somebody else. No excuse also. I am not able to do it because XYZ is. No, don't tell that. Excuses are not part of being conscious. So echo yourself. So identify what can be done. I can go on and on, but I thought I will speak 40 minutes and I think I have done it. Good enough. Maybe I can use some 20 minutes for some discussions, question answer. I'll be very glad.
Over to Dr. Maharana, sir. Dr. Maharana, sir. अच्छा
प्रमोद जी आप या
सर प्रणाम हेलो डॉक्टर हाँ यस हेलो
या
हेलो yes sir okay, thanks so much Dr. DrTPS for a beautiful talk on the conscious living, which is as you have said, is a higher state of living, which is based on the beautiful way of looking at life. I don't want to summarize all the things what you have told because of the paucity of time. May I request our moderator, Dr. K. Omnan Rao, to carry on the interactive session. Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao.
Thank you very much, sir, and namaskar, everybody. Thank you, Dr. TPS, for another nice lecture. I learned a lot from your earlier lecture, the science of living. Okay, now today the conscious living too has brought in a lot of things to reflect on. Well, we have a lot of people here who can initiate the discussion. Well, I'll be a part of it, but I should initiate with somebody who would like to reflect on what you have said. Well, if somebody is unmuting to ask something, Srinivas-ji, yes, sir, he has a question in the chat box. As you spoke of the unconscious form of living and being conscious of your living, he says that unconscious living, as you have said, it is like being chained to a certain mechanical pattern, as you say, it's a pendulum like living with no freedom. So he also sees that life in that pattern, and then he talks of he questions whether conscious living to some extent to help us in liberating ourselves from this very chain of life and death, because he is taking life to other life and all that maybe. So he's saying whether this conscious life would help us to be free from not only in what we do in this life, and he moves to extends life to the next life and all that, and he says whether we can be free from the very cycle of life and death. How do you see this, Professor TPS?
One of my guru is Guru Nitya Chaitanya Yati. He always taught people around him when such a question comes. If I have to answer this, maybe I have to go to another world. This question who is asking should come to that same world, and then we could discuss there. I know there is only one world, and that is this world. There are a lot of discussions on the other life, next life, another world, and all that. In my small poetry book, I wrote The Arrow from Shadow. What I am doing today, it is what is coming back to me tomorrow. So the other world is tomorrow, because I don't know whether after today I will take another birth. Tomorrow morning will I be available in this world? I don't know. So we have another way of the Sankalpa being understood. Morning Brahma wakes me up and Vishnu takes care of me. At the end I surrender to Shiva and I die there. So every day I am taking a rebirth. So I don't think we have to justify whatever we do in this. That is fine. If you want to take mythology, you want to take Purana, you want to take Idihasa and then teach lessons, that's fine. I don't think Shankaracharya lived a life of conscious life thinking that in next Janma he will become somebody and then take another birth. If that would have happened, he would have taken a next birth and then in at least Bharat would have been in a better place. I don't think Vivekananda. Where do we ask this question? Nobody asks this question when somebody talks about quoting Shankaracharya, you have another birth. No? Why this is not being asked? Did he get moksha and then went? If that was his intention, he would have cleaned all the problems in this world, then only go to moksha, right? Still we are facing the same problems what during his time also had. Okay, forget about Shankaracharya. Think about Vivekananda. Very recent person. Did he get a moksha and then went? Or is it that he has got another life where he can come and clean it again? Is it not that time has come? We keep talking about the Bhagavad Gita and say, yeah, I will take another birth when there is an imbalance. And is it not happening? Is the imbalance still, we have to wait for some more time? Okay, if that is so, why we should think about such a thing which is going to happen after some time? We don't know whether we will have a second birth like this or maybe another birth like this. So it's too much. That's what I understand from little discussions what probably Ramana Maharshi discusses or maybe Nityayati discusses. Right? So we have to live a life where tomorrow I will not challenge myself. We have a buddhi, logically thinking, we have a feeling. My manas chitta says that this is how I should do it with the feelings, immediate feelings. That is manas. Can I make it more stronger? So that my Atma, my soul will justify what I am saying is perfectly right. You don't have to question yourself. Such people are called Atmiya Purusha. Probably that is what I take as best lesson from Bhagavad Gita. Uddharet Atmanatmanam, Atmanam avasadhayet, Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. If my manas and buddhi and my soul becomes unified and one, there is no enemy, there is no friend for me. I work according to my soul. Hridaya Guhara Madhya Kevalam Brahma Matram. I become so creative, so innovative. I don't worry what happened yesterday. I will only create new things every moment in my life. So being creative is being conscious. Being transformed, not form, not in format, new things. Whatever you do in your life, you do it with your innovation, with your inquisitiveness, with your zeal, with the total knowledge, with awareness, being conscious about what you are doing. I am conscious about my theme of lecture today. And I am conscious about what words I am using. I am conscious about referring what I am supposed to refer. And if I am conscious, if that gets into your manas, you are matching somewhere in that consciousness. That is what we believe. It should not be taught. It should be satsang, one-to-one dialogue. Rub it well so that smoothness will come. It's like a magnet and a metal. Rub it many times, the metal become magnet. That is awareness. That is consciousness. That is spirituality. That is atmiyata. That is self-awareness. That is blissfulness. You call it by any name. I don't know whether I answered, but I know that I reflected in the way. And I am sure Srinivasji is in a much higher position, much higher position, and he will be able to understand much better.
One good take from your response, sir. Very good, one good take. You see life and death in this very life itself.
Yeah.
There is no need of pondering about the next life and the past life and all that. You see life and death in this very life. So managing the conscious and the unconscious is most important. So, well, Srinivas, you want to say something? Welcome.
Yes. Dr. DPS, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, do you mean to say that conscious living, we have to ignore the karma theory and there is no papa punya also?
See, that is where Bhagavad Gita is not talking about karma alone. Bhagavad Gita is also talking about jnana. Bhagavad Gita is also talking about dhyana, devotion. So when you do your action with the full knowledge, being aware of what you are doing and fully devoted, that is what is the actual best karma. Otherwise, Arjuna knows how to kill people. There was no need of lecture. But are you aware of the consequence? Are you aware of the reasons? The behind reasons. What is happening after that is consequence. In between is action. If Shakespeare also says, no? I think Macbeth also says everywhere. If you can trammel up the consequence, the success. You know how that happens after that your actions. Are you aware of it? For every action which I do, am I aware of this? Then I know. That is what is my jnana, vijnana, and viveka, vivechana. All that buddhi has to work. So it is action itself. A higher mode of action. But how many people do have a higher mode of action? Taking your salary, eating and taking care of your children is not karma at all. Making breakfast and eating is not karma at all. Giving lecture, evaluating, making somebody pass, somebody fail is not karma at all. What do you do beyond? Beyond what you are supposed to do? Do you define something greater and higher with a greater and higher knowledge? Shankaracharya was not posted with an order for doing what he has done. Vivekananda was not given an appointment order by somebody to do what he has done. Only such people will remain in this world, I will tell you. So though you have a job, what do you do beyond the job? How many people we remember in this world? Not those who held the positions, not those people who have done great materialistically. There is something which we are supposed, that is what is called karma. At least 10 around you think about you. Do you connect to somebody where you would not have even connected in your life and made a difference to them? Have you done something in your life which can make a mark, make a difference? That is what is karma. Otherwise, many people fought in Mahabharata war. Why only Arjuna got the lessons? Because they know, oh, he was chosen. So don't think everybody does karma. Some people are chosen for doing some karma, and that needs a great satsang, which great people around you, and that makes you, your shadow will not be blackish, it will become golden shadows for you. Let us call it like that.
Thank you once again, sir. Thank you for the response. Again, one thing comes to mind.
Yeah, Kishore Chandra ji.
डॉक्टर टीपी शशि कुमार बाबू.
Yeah.
हाँ सर, प्रणाम सर. मैं मुंगेर यूनिवर्सिटी ह्यूमैनिटीज डीन, हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फिलॉसफी.
Yeah.
वेरी नाइस लेक्चर.
Pranams.
थैंक यू सर.
Kishore Chandra ji from Mauritius is here. Yeah.
Well, sir, before calling somebody, one good take from you is that with jnana and being conscious of Swadharma, there is a need to focus on the present and act. And we should forget about what is the outcome and everything. So the Swadharma, with the right knowledge, focus on the present and being contextually sound, that helps you, and that is the teaching and that is the message from the Gita. As you see, I could learn from you. Thank you. Well, Pramodma just wants to ask something.
Kishore Chandra ji was raising hand many times. He is from Mauritius.
Yes. If he's there, welcome. Kishore Chandra ji.
Unmute Kishore ji. Unmute.
Kishore Chandra ji, if you are interested to ask something, you are welcome. Please unmute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been listening to Guruji, and I am also thinking about, what special you can do. But I'm coming to the example you have quoted, that a person who has a job and beyond the job what he can do. But the other thing I would like to point out here, while doing the job itself, being paid to do that, can't you use that opportunity with the job and do things that will be really marvelous, not only for you, not only for the employer, but also to all those beneficiaries, so that they can at least learn how to, get something which will give rise to their freedom, and at the same time, it will give them some food for thoughts, what they can do at their level. So I think, you told about Arjuna. Arjuna's job was to fight, but he got the lesson from Lord Krishna that he must fight for the reasons that was given to him. But also, for example, like a social worker who is working with an agency, he can do a lot of good things for the people for whom he's supposed to render the service of the agency. Then here also the consciousness of doing the job in the right way, in a beneficial way to those who are going to benefit is also, I can consider it in a way, it's also conscious living and conscious doing things that will be purposeful in the life of people. Thank you, Guruji.
Really true. Agree with you. I have nothing to add, Kishore ji. Yeah. Pramod ji.
Well, welcome, Prabhu sir. Pramod Mandar sir.
Namaskar, sir. I have no question at all. I shall appreciate you with few words. What I learned from you today. This talk is very enriching, inspiring. Very beautifully you said that the physical growth and mental growth, they may not go hand by hand. They may not go simultaneously. That means, suppose I am living or I have already lived 50 years. That does not mean I have cultured my my character, my conscious living. That means physical growth does not mean the psychological growth. this is a very beautiful message. Either we are nurturing or torturing our talents. We have spent some years. So in which way we have spent 40 years, 50 years? Because lifespan is very short. So this is one message, that we may be physically grown up. That does not mean we are psychologically, spiritually grown up. This is one point. Second point is what you said, that there are different levels of consciousness, Sushupti, Swapna and Jagrata. We are speaking about Jagrata, but the question is whether we are really Jagrata or not. And if we are Jagrata, in what intensity? That is the point. So we are not conscious at all, though we pretend to be conscious. That is the point. So we should be conscious. And conscious about what? Conscious about our own limitations. Conscious about our own possibilities. Consciousness about our limitations and consciousness about our possibilities. What best we can do. And in which ways we are trapped, in which way we are ignorant. So we are living in the ocean of ignorance, and we are in the very small island of wisdom. The reality and the question was about liberation from Dr. Srinivasanji, and very beautifully you answered that this life is enough. This life is the only platform where we have to be conscious, where we have to transform ourselves from lower level of consciousness to higher level of consciousness, from lower ladder of perfection to higher ladder of perfection. This is the only life. So being conscious is liberation. If we are conscious, then that is liberation. Therefore, Sat Chit Ananda, the Chit is not different from Ananda. Chit is not different from existence. If you are really conscious about your limitations, that limitation is bondage. So the consciousness about limitation is liberation. So conscious living is the liberative living. Therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Jnana, Karma, Bhakti, Samuchaya. If these three faculties are not groomed, you cannot have a complete personality, Purna Bhaktitva. Really, I learned many things from you, sir. It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das, for your nice observations. And we have with us Dr. Ranjit Kumar Ghosh, sir. Ranjit Ghosh, sir. Dr. Ghosh.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I'm really enlightened by TPS lecture. And the thing is, at the initial stage, you have, as far as I understood you, that you rejected mindfulness of Buddhist practice. And because that is a type of practice that leads to a type of egocentricity. But here in conscious living, we are looking into both the lifestyles as well as the environment. So there is a social outlook that we can get here in conscious living rather than the mindfulness of Buddhist. This is one thing. But one thing, now this conscious living, do you think it as an open structure or a closed structure of thought, so far as the human mind is concerned?
The five different aspects of life, where we have a physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, which is, when I call social, there are a lot of geo-spatial differences. So how can I mold something which is fit for everyone? Cannot. The body and the mind, though we call it as two different aspects, as Pramodji said, Sharira Manaso Yoga Parasparam Anuprajet, Adhara adheya bhavena tapta jakadayoriva. The body and the mind is such related. Whenever the body heats up, manas also will heat up. How can I ask somebody concentrate, listen to my lecture when he has got a severe stomach pain and headache? He cannot. So all these are, though they be say distinctly different, they are all related. So it's like a mold, like a masala when we add. The whole masala put together, it makes the sabji better. One of the masala is more or less, it doesn't. So the way I cooked, the way I am cooked by my producer, the way Brahma created me is not the way the Ranjit ji is created. So your masala is different and my masala is different. Each one has got its own flavor and taste. So there is nothing unique. Each individual has to go. The problem what we have is, I don't think in Satya Yuga nobody followed anybody in the world. They were individualistically clean and clear, they know the path. When it comes to next yugas, we had leaders and role models, and then people said you follow them, because people were wavering with a lot of conflict, how to do and what to do. And in Kali Yuga, the problem is we have no followers, we have only leaders, and all of them are conflicting each other. So I keep saying, probably I made a very drastic statement sometime when I was talking in a Buddhist forum. If Buddha would have read Bhagavad Gita, he would not even started a religion by himself. Correct? So sometimes we have leaders, those who have not read anything. Though, see, we have spiritual leaders in India who are so famous, you don't seem to be they quoting a single sloka from any scriptures, because they have not learned anything. They have only learned from Western leaders with the translated version. They know blah 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 English, they become spiritual leaders. Right? So these are problems. When you think that you know Ayurveda, they think they know the whole spirituality in this world. And they think that if you know yoga and under somebody's practice, so it is not well cooked. So it is not physically understanding, emotionally understanding, not the body part, not the... See, Ayurveda was not a body, mental, intellectual medicine. It was part of fivefold development. So similarly, every spirituality also have to take care of body. Yesterday I was talking to somebody, I said, I cannot talk about enlightenment when your tummy is starving. Only when you have sufficient food I can speak. I don't think I spoke to any other platform like the way I spoke today, because I know I am talking to philosophy people. When I talk to somebody else who come to me for learning Bhagavad Gita, probably I don't speak like this at all. I speak in a different style and different language. Even a KG, also I can teach English. But when I come to a PhD class, the English professors, when I am giving lecture, I will not speak in the style in which I am talking. So we know how to adjust with the society. So social adjustment, that is, I call it as transform. See, you form yourself into a trance. When you transform yourself from this realistic world, then your consciousness will come out. But you are not transforming. You are in the materialistic world and talking about transforming. It doesn't happen. So it's a different world with a different time scale. In my book on Life Made Simple, I wrote, spirituality can never be measured. How can somebody say spirituality can be measured? Where is the meter for measuring spirituality? Because my spirituality is different from your spirituality. So Satya Yuga is the right word. So what is to be done is we must be with the nature. Don't compare with something else. Right? The tree doesn't compare with some other tree. Every tree gives different fruits. Like each one of us are different fruits. Our job is to give different fruits, different smell. Don't compare. That is what I think is correct.
But the thing is, I think we cannot overemphasize emotion in conscious living, because emotion is unconscious.
Yes.
That is what I want to say.
That is correct. That is correct.
So thank you so much, Dr. Ghosh and Dr. TPS. Well, a conscious living requires transformation at every stage, and that is the secret of conscious living. Now, we have with us the Dr. Suchita Vatsal. She has a question in her mind. She wants to speak. Welcome, Dr. Suchita Vatsal. Are you there?
Thank you so much, sir. I'm
Yes,
there.
come on.
Thank you, Dr. TPS. It was an enriching session as well. Sir, no, not sir. When you are living consciously and you want to, am I audible? It's lot.
Yes, you're audible,
yes.
If you are wanting to live consciously, as you said, you always bring a balance. But sometimes I feel in my life, it's my personal experience, there seems to be a prarabdha. Some unconscious ideas keep on floating into your mind, and they keep on telling you to change your ways. Should we go to the ways which are being unconsciously coming to your mind, or should you chase your own ideas and ways which you have been focusing on? This is a conflicting situation when you are trying to spiritually climb up the ladder. You always come across. Can you answer me?
See, the first part was very clear for me. You ended up with saying climbing spiritual ladder. That desire itself is the biggest enemy of becoming spiritual. Being spiritual is without being desire. Then how can you have a desire for being spiritual? That is the biggest enemy. Most of the people understand this. Luckily you told that. Many people don't even tell this. The problem is, I want to be spiritually higher. Finished. Go back. Don't come to me for any sessions. See, many people come to my place, including Adria would have stayed with me for 10 days for programs. I never taught meditation at all. Because see, somebody asked, when is that I can learn meditation? That is when you are unfit for that. The desireless state is where you have to reach. So my idea is that desire which you have to become desireless is the biggest enemy. Dr. TPS never wanted to be like what I am today. I have just become like this. That's why I am saying sometimes it is illusion, sometimes it is reality, sometimes it is instinct. Instinct doesn't come with ideas. It just comes. That's it. You don't think and get an instinct for doing something. No, it doesn't happen. It instantaneous. So how do you get that? You need to be in that group. Some people have this. So that is where Suchitra has. So what happens? You are living a mechanical life. I told you that. It's like a pendulum. How do I create problems to you? How do I change your path from this pendulum to, I have to make another path. It may be totally perpendicular. This is a big theorem in physics. You take a small needle. I don't have. I was just checking whether I have got the science gadgets with me. What I do is, you can do it at home. What you do is, take a thread, put a needle here, and then put a pendulum. Then put a magnet below. You can see this needle goes into chaotic motion. So after chaotic, it takes a path. That path is called what is perpendicular to this path. That is spiritual path. You need to be disturbed. So what is happening to you is disturbance. It's nice that it should happen. I also got disturbance some time back. Some 20 years back, 25 years back, I used to get disturbed for everything around. So, but then I understood, oh, this is what I have to do to make it reasonably harmonious to me. So it takes years. Don't jump and have too much of desire. It will keep on disturbing, people can never achieve. Yeah, I think there is a message. I am sure I have overshot at my time, which is not at all desirable for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So very desire to evolve is again a binding factor. So we should be free from all desires. The only thing is carry on your jnana, put into practice the best possible way without pondering about what is going to happen, whether you are evolving or not. So these all matters we should bracket them out. So I should invite one more person. We have with us Rajpuraj sir. Well, he's from defense. He's a retired army personnel, and if he's interested to make some comment, well, I request him to speak on, if he's interested. Otherwise, we'll go for the next session.
You have to unmute. Raj Purohit ji, you have to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
At the outset, it's simply awesome, outstanding. But the more I listen to knowledgeable people like you, the more confused I get. Humble soldier with no brains. Only know one part of my life. Enemy, to be clear. So when I look at life, I find that conscious living is something, should I say, within my cognition. And unconscious living, do I go beyond my cognition? How do I correlate? If it is in my cognition, I know it that I am doing it consciously. And the moment it is beyond my cognitions, which is unconscious, that area of unknown, I do not know where it is. If that is the spirituality, I need to go and close my eyes and head and say, oh, where is it? I don't know where to find it. And if this brainwave has to come to every individual on this planet, how does it come? And you are not ready to teach. You say meditation will come automatically. So the more I listen to such people, simple guys like me don't understand this. And do I take this? This is my second question. Do I take this? How do we bridge the gap between knows and unknowns? Haves and have not have, so we understand. But people who are knowledgeable and people who are not illiterates, how do we bridge this gap in India? If we really have to grow everyone to the level of spirituality, if you can put the two things together, please, cognition and beyond, vis-a-vis the conscious living. And second is, how do we bridge this gap? Thank you so much. I'm on the listening.
Yeah. Jeevanji, I was also part of your own service. I was with RAW. I was Deputy Director in PM's office and Director General of Security. So don't call ourselves as only fighters and strategy.
It's good to promote a certain sense.
I spoke to more soldiers in my life than to teachers, probably. And Bhagavad Gita itself was talking to a soldier, right? But the problem is, the soldier asks a question to Bhagavan. Arjuna asked the question, how to behave like, how to speak like a Sthitapratna. So the problem is, superficially I want to behave like that. That is what the Arjuna's question. Sthitapratnasya ga bhasha. Refer to that sloka. Sthitapratnasya ga bhasha. How do I talk like a Sthitapratna? His desire was not to become like a Sthitapratna. I want to talk like a Sthitapratna. That is superficial. That's personality development communication skill program which we give. Showing, not being. You know, the answer by Krishna was Sthitapratnasya ka bhasha was the question. Dukkheshwara diknamana sukheshu vikata spriha vida raga bhaya krota sthitati irmunirujyate. It is not becoming or showing. Being is different. So, to be that, probably to understand what I spoke, lines are not good enough. In between lines, there are a lot of things happening and I am trying to put it into the way I can speak so that people can understand. The perceiver perceives the way the perceiver wants to perceive and not the speaker wants the perceiver to perceive. So it needs little bit of listening. So many of my people like Atira, Shuchita, so many people are there, Sweta, most of the people, Kishore Chandraji, attended most of my Bhagavad Gita classes. They listen to my lectures many times. Adina, every video she looks at it and then write, this is my takeaway. Every time after that there is a question which is asked and I answer that privately. Correct? So there are a lot of time. It cannot be done in a hurry. It is not somebody gets an orientation program and the gun is given after a training. It is not training. It is a development process. So that development will not come with the training. Training is different and development is different. That's why we call it as training and development. I am an MBA professor. So we keep talking about training and development. Why it is different? Development has to come within you. I can give a skill training program. We are talking about development. It has to come inside you and the desire should come. Lot of questions should come. If I don't leave time for questions and only give lectures, it becomes only blah blah blah. No. Whole Bhagavad Gita, questions are more and answers are less. I keep saying Bhagavad Gita is not written by Bhagavan. It is made by Arjuna. If there were no question, Bhagavad Gita is not there. So the problem is, we need that people with a lot of desire keep on asking questions. That's why I kept my number is there, DrTPS. Very simple to remember me. Dr. Teachers, Parents, Students. TPS, that's my name. Search, look at it, come back to me. We will have lot of discussions, debates. I had a great fortune of being with great gurus, and everyday debate, lot of questions, lot of answers. That polishes. So it is becoming being after some time. Don't be in a hurry. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we are running short of time. We have a second lecture. Well, lot of people, lot of things, lot many people want to interact, but if possible, we can interact with Dr. TPS. After the second talk, well, let us all move to Dr. Kailash Chandra Mahana to take on the further course of action to initiate the second session. So, with a lot of thanks to Dr. TPS, let us move to the second lecture. Over to Dr.
Hearty gratitude to Guruji Dr. TPS. All the viewers and the postgraduates. Now we have to move to the second session where Sri K.C. Patnaik sir, Krishnan Patnaik sir is waiting us. Krishnan Patnaik sir